In the battle for attention, you've got to figure out if what you're doing is actually attracting the kind of people that you want and the type of business and the type of attention you want, or starting to repulse them. You know, and it's really interesting. I read this article the other day that talked about how Unilever, one of the biggest product brands in the United States, right, how they've decided to shun the idea of working with influencers or dramatically reduce it. And they pointed to all the abuse, right? They pointed to the fact that these influencers are starting to have, like, you know, fake followers and bots and all this other stuff that is really diminishing the value of the influencer, right? The influencers think that they can, you know, garner more and more, you know, money and you know, in an $8 billion industry, like you're starting to see some of the advertisers start to pull away, right? No different than pulling away from TV or pulling away from radio or pulling away from the internet. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with this arc of effectiveness that I talk about, you know, where individuals experiment with things. The first people that were using influencer marketing did it, you know, exceptionally well and had a lot of success. It's just the same as the few people that, you know, first started out in email marketing or in, you know, pop-up messages. All these things have this arc of effectiveness, right? Where they start off as an experiment, and then they start to gain some momentum. Eventually, they summit, right? They reach their full maximum effectiveness, and then copycatters destroy it. They abuse it, and consumers ultimately, you know, develop this reflexive no, right? They repulse every single time, you know, they see it. You know, almost to the fact of, like, you know, you're going to get to a point where certain influencers say, like, this is my favorite type of vodka, and people are going to go, I'm not drinking that, right? That stuff's shit. Like, because of the association with the people. You know, you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful if you're a business today of what bandwagon you jump on. And in fact, I'll tell you what's better to do is to constantly be experimenting and monitoring the results to see if you're measurably gaining any sort of you know, ground. You know, don't use the same scripts you used 20 years ago. Don't use the same techniques that you used 5 months ago or 6 months ago. You've constantly got to be evolving. You know, if you don't evolve, you're going to become extinct, right? If you don't change, if you don't experiment, what's ultimately going to happen is the consumers that you're trying to approach, they're going to stop paying attention, right? They're going to stop listening. And, you know, ultimately, differentiation requires that they pay attention, right? Getting their attention really comes back to, you know, understanding who you are and putting out authentic messages into the marketplace and not abusing people, right? Stop the abuse. Don't overdo it.